Hi, I'm Jason from Endless Wave Dynamics, where I'll be on the front line of your creative business battles. In today's episode, I'm interviewing my good friend, Bob Wynne. He's a drum teacher and owns his own music school called Rhythm Inc. in South Yorkshire, UK. He's been playing drums since the age of 9, so that means he's been actively involved in music for the better part of 30 years. Sorry about that, Bob. I thought it'd be cool to chat with him about his journey of setting up a business when he was 24, up to now, and all the challenges in between. Making a living in music can be difficult, so it's great to have Bob on the show to share some of his advice. We're going to be talking about the misnomer of creative businesses and the challenging balance between creating a craft and running the demanding side of business that is often outside of our skill set, and how they usually don't go hand in hand, but what we can do to bridge that gap. And how we usually stretch ourselves way too thin, being blinded by making the wrong kind of deal, and how to negotiate things like friends and family prices by being transparent and honest, and how that can sometimes lead to a career change by being adaptable within your industry. Also, the importance of putting worth on your time and using money as a leverage, comparing a music lesson to, say, something like a trip to the doctors, and how easy it can be to cave in and be soft when talking money with your clients. We also do the ins and outs of working on a YouTube channel to make our businesses more sustainable and scalable, and bringing other companies in to share that value by being a giver, not a taker, and how that's dramatically increased Bob's networking ability. This includes cold approaching techniques and how to find support from bigger people in your industry by offering services that can be mutually beneficial. Finally, some tips on mentoring and passing down the torch, only offering value to your clients with a grassroots connection to the people that you want to work for. So enjoy this one with Bob Wynne. Hi, I'm Jason from Endless Wave Dynamics, and I'm here with my good friend Bob Wynne from Rhythm Inc. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Bob?
Hi, my name's Bob. I've been playing the drums since I was 9 years old, so that's close to 29 years, although I care not to admit it. I've been teaching the drums since I was 17. I went to Barnsley College with a music degree. I've been a professional musician since I left. I set up a teaching business when I was 24. And through the teaching business, I've done gigs, taught students, worked at college, worked in schools, worked at universities now, built this room, which I didn't think was possible. If I could tell my 17-year-old self, you'll have a room where you can make noise without annoying people, you'd be quite happy. So we've got a recording studio here. This is a multi-purpose room for me. I get to film all my drummy stuff, which is both educational and product demonstration-y. And then we do some tracks for various clients, and I think that's about it.
That sounds amazing. So you've
been... yeah, thanks.
Oh, you did all right there, Bob. As an entrepreneur, basically, as somebody that's set up a business, working in the creative field, you must have come across having some mistakes in setting up that. It was as easy as what you thought it would be to set up in business?
You see, sometimes creative business is a bit of a misnomer in the fact that if you want to exist and be creative and charge people money, the money or the business model is always secondary. You want to deliver the product, be it a lesson, be it a place where people can hire, or a band that people can hire, or a PA that you can hire. You always forget about the paperwork, or the right insurance policy that you need, or the right public liability, the right DBS, disclosure and barring service. And you always forget about the invoicing, or who you're invoicing. Is it the end of the financial year? Do I have to have my books done? Am I self-employed? Am I working for this person? So much bullshit, which is, I do it. I set this Rhythm Inc. up when I was 24. So yeah, we're now into like 13th, 14th year of business, and I'm still crap with it.
Yeah.
I'll hold my hand up and I'll go, Rhythm Inc. started off with 4 business partners. Now we're down to 2. And I still annoy him. So
I'm glad that I'm not alone there, because what I found was when I was running the studio, I was so focused in on making records. I was so focused in on just creating the thing that I was choosing to do, and my passion was all there. My passion wasn't for invoicing, for all the other side of business. That for someone just getting into business right now, they're thinking, "Oh, I'm really good at doing this. Now I should do it for a living." there's a huge gap between earning a living as a musician and just being a musician. Talk to me about some of the things that you've learned over time. Like, what's made the difference for you at this point to be able to survive all these years? Like, what, 10, 15 years or whatever?
No, a bit less than 15, actually, Jason. Right. Up until the age of about 24, I always worked for other people. So I went out and did various jobs for different bands, and the guy who I was working with said, we got this run up to Aberdeen, and up until this time we've been working locally. He said, I can pay you 45 quid a night. It's 2 nights in Aberdeen for 90 quid. And I'm a team player, so I'll do it. But if I asked you to drive to Aberdeen for 90 quid, would you do it for 2 days?
Not really.
No,
not now, but maybe then.
But but at the time it was a bit hefty because he put in a gig in Somerset the day after. So it was 7.5 hours up to Aberdeen for 2 nights, then straight down to Somerset, and I got 135 quid. And stupidly, he asked me what I thought of it, what the run. So I should have been. I was being honest. I went, I'm not sure how you're making money because the fuel. You've got 7 people to pay 45 quid to. You've got the fuel and the time. I don't know how you're doing it. And I don't know why you're doing it because you're losing out. Must be. I mean, it's at me.
Well, at least you was honest, because most people in that situation, just starting out in work, would probably just go blindly into that kind of deal, not wanting to upset people and not wanting to have their head screwed on about it. Some people would make some serious mistakes by doing that. I know I've made plenty by doing that, just going into deals where it's not really been thoroughly talked about with money-wise, because money isn't always an issue with creative arts. This is something we just talked about. The idea that it's really difficult to charge people, like, say, friends, family.
It's awkward, isn't it?
It's really painful. And you're often not thinking about the money. You just want to make the product. You just want to do the job. You just want to help your friends out. You just want to do that. But at some point, it's not sustainable to do that, and you've got to start thinking about
what's sustainable, what's productive, what's counterproductive. And through being honest, probably a bit too honest, but I was being transparent with the guy. Yeah, he sacked me. He said, I can't have you threatening to leave. I went, I didn't say I was threatening to leave. All right, I'm going to leave because you're obviously a douche. And then I called my dad up and I said, listen, Dad, this happened. He went, right, you need an insurance policy. I went, right. So what can you do that doesn't involve gigs? I went, I can teach. He went, do that then. Thanks, Dad. What do I do? So I talked to a couple of friends about it. So I'm thinking of setting up this business, doing some teaching. I don't want to teach from a bedroom because I think that's it's not cool, is it? If you're a 17-year-old lad and you're teaching your mates or your family friends, that's all right. But if you want to do it professionally, you need a standalone business where they can meet you. There's a landline. It looks cool, or it will look cool. Everyone likes a doer-upper, don't they?
It seems professional when you're doing it down that route.
Yeah.
It's like me trying to record something from somebody's bedroom. It's possible to do it. Everybody knows you can make a record in a bedroom, but you need a professional environment to do it.
And if you're taking money off somebody, and you're charging a fair amount for your time, your facilities, and your reputation, which you're gaining, which you can gain a reputation every day. You can also lose it as well, equally.
So how would you go about putting a worth on yourself? How would you go about, you've said 2 things there, putting a worth on your time and putting a worth and monetary value to your service. So, like...
I don't charge enough.
I don't think any of us do.
No.
None of us are living the life of luxury because we do. But yeah, I'm interested.
We've got a standard pricing model here, which is fine. There needs to be a ceiling point on the local market. You can't be charging people 20 quid for half an hour when your next competition is only charging £11. It's not. So people are just going to go to your website. Most people will go, what makes them so good? I don't think that the competition is nearly half as bad. So, but then I sometimes think, I've been doing this quite a long time, and we've got some younger teachers that are on the same hourly rate as me. So I kind of think, should I be charging more? But I just haven't got around to it. So don't worry, pricing's the same for the time being. But putting the value on your time, though, the whole point where someone calls up last minute, oh, I'm really sorry, I forgot, or normally, say 10 years ago, oh yeah, don't worry about it, man, it happens. Well, now it's kind of like, well, you booked that time, you knew it was 4:30, you've forgotten. It's not like something like the world has come to an end. It's not a serious reason. I'm still charging you, sorry. And just having that backbone to say, yeah, that you have to pay for that.
And there's a certain leverage when you put money value on things like that, because as a child that you're teaching, or like a younger adult that you're teaching, they've got time on the side. Whereas, like, we're not ancient or anything yet, but we're definitely older than what we was.
Definitely.
And money's not necessarily as important as our time. Our time's actually important now.
Yeah.
How much we can fit into a day as productive, creative people, you want to fit as much as you can into a day. So that becomes the value.
And also, to them, because they've lost that money, they'll make sure 9 times out of 10 it won't happen again. Or, oh God, I can't make drums next Wednesday. It's Thursday now. I'll text him now because he'll charge me. See, I work the same. If I've got an appointment, if I'm late, or like a physiotherapist or something like that, I'm quarter of an hour late. That's my fault. And if it's an hour appointment, well, I'll accept that at 3. I was supposed to be there at 2. I'm there at 2:15. I'm leaving at 3, and I'm paying them the full amount of money. Yeah, because that's my fault. So it's being accountable and having that emphasis on the value, really. And it sounds really pissy about a drum lesson, but it's not. Sometimes it's just a point as well, I think.
I get that. And with that, there's an element of respect that goes into it, and
it's very easy to cave. Oh yeah, it's all right.
Oh yeah, and I have done.
Yeah,
and come away from deals that have left me very sore in pocket because of it, and it's hard, especially like as well when it's people that you get close to. And I can imagine in your job, it's quite easy, especially the kind of person that you are, to become quite good friends with most of your students.
Yeah, it's a fine line. It is a fine line, and there's got to be a point where, nah, it's not acceptable.
Something that I've seen that you do a lot is you're working on your YouTube channel. You're doing lots of videos. You're putting them out very consistent. How much is that side of things something that you're concentrating on? And what difference does it make?
It's something I'm concentrating on more because, again, with this whole one person missing half an hour, you realise that time is precious, and that I think I've got I'm not going to say unique. That's probably a bit grandiose, but a different perspective on certain areas of. There's only so many lessons you can teach per week. However, you can hit a lot more people through Facebook and YouTube. The idea behind that is to monetize it, and then so somebody, I don't know, Clint in Omaha, if he likes working on inverted paradiddles and he likes me, well, we can Skype, or we can buy a course of lessons, and we can have that. Or we can correspond through email instead of little Johnny coming around and doing grade 1 who lives on Victoria Road. So that's the end game with that, and I'm nowhere near it.
No, but you start. You started. That's the thing, because even with this podcast, it's took me a while to actually get started, because it's almost like a fear sometimes of I've not got enough material to talk about. I've not got enough things to do. I've not got enough to give to an audience or whatever. You're saying that you're nowhere near it, but you're making a start, and that's a huge difference. And that's the same thing. Yeah. Like you can't get anywhere without setting off. Sometimes you don't need a map. You just need to know where you're heading.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I've got 2 guys that a sound guy and a filming guy, and the amount of times where I've had a clear idea what I'm going to do. I don't script things particularly. I've got a rough idea. Normally, I'll write some stuff down or some ideas that I've come up with, and I'll sit down and go, not quite sure what's going to happen in the next 4 minutes. It's either going to be brilliant or it's going to be shite. Sorry.
There's always a delete button.
But you never get it right all the time. All you can do is try and get better each junction. So I started off. It's actually about 3 years ago. I thought, right, I've got some time on my hands. A girl left me. And I thought, I've got all this time on my hands. What should I do with it? And I thought, right, I'll start doing some videos. And I actually did the videos there on the V-drum kit on that music stand with an iPad, just pointing down. And that's how I started. And then 3 years later, I've got Natal asking me to do stuff there, social media, for Instagram and for Facebook and for YouTube. Mine will be really cool. And it all started off with me going around to see Gareth at Highwood, which would have been about 2008. I was doing a session and I said to someone said to me, somebody brought a Highwood snare in. I went, who the hell Highwood? I went, company in Wakefield. They make custom drums. I went, I don't know about this.
Yeah. A drum kit manufacturer on his doorstep.
On our doorstep. So, Googled it, and I drove round, opened the door. My name's Bob Wynne. I don't know you exist. Invite me in. Now it says that. What the hell? but yeah. So again, everything has humble beginnings, and just keep going.
No, what I do like about that is your ability to network and open up connections in that kind of way.
Oh yeah,
I think it's really important for any creative person to be out there meeting people, even if you don't know that person. You didn't know Gareth, but you took the initiative to go basically cold approach somebody and make a connection. Like that's something that's lost nowadays, especially with social media.
Yeah.
Back in our day when we didn't have Facebook to chat.
There was a time.
There was
a time. Yeah.
Like at gigs and stuff, you'd actually talk to the bands at gigs. You'd make connections.
You try.
No, yeah.
You all right? Yeah, man. But yeah, I get you. No, definitely. Yeah.
That's it. You've been making connections with real people, and you that's the way that you'd do gig exchange. It's just things that we've just been talking about with my friend Jamie Delrick. You'd do gig exchanges with people. You'd actually meet people and connect people, and then that would spur the next gig. That would spur the next creative potential. So like your ability to do that. Where's that come from? Like, is that something that you've always been good at?
I think there comes a certain point where in your mind's eye, like I'm not quite sure where this is going. I know the interview, but I know with the questions I can actually give you an intellectual or a relevant response with a bit of humour. But I think everything is if it's delivered with humour. It's like, hey Jason, you got a melanoma, but hey, like, could be worse. But there was stuff like that. I think it's all about how you deliver it. So if you go up to somebody and kind of go, oh hey Jason, how you doing? It's like, oh yeah, you're fun to talk to. But I think if you're enthusiastic and you're passionate about something, what's the point in being a withdrawn genius if no one knows about it?
I love that answer, man. I love that answer.
Because it's like, I'm a recluse. I'm brilliant. You'll never know. What the fuck? Or it's like people talking about, oh yeah, it's what he doesn't do. People, there's a fine line between being up your own arse and talking out of it, but being just to make connections with people.
Yeah.
It's like I went out to Nam in January. I decided the week before I was going to go and pulled in a favour with another guy who makes some amazing, you love him much, Jason, the metal snare drums. And I called him. I said, Alan, you're going to Nam, aren't you? He went, yeah. Can I come? I'll pay for my ticket. I'll pay my own way. Because he's a small company. It's not like asking Marshall, who just, And he went, yeah, of course you can. Got your exhibitor's pass. That was $300. But if the exhibitor gets the exhibitor's pass, it's free. I think the accommodation was like $50 a day, which is like peanuts in it. Food was cheap, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going.
So he was basically cheeky.
Yeah,
but because you'd already put that groundwork in, he knows that he can trust you. It's like he sees something in you. You put that groundwork in first, and then all it takes is to be cheeky on top of that, and you get what you want.
Yeah, without being too nonchalant. I'm coming to Nam with you. Are you? Do I have a choice? You're a dick. Go away. But like without, he put the snare drum on his Instagram, and I went, "That's wicked." He went, "Don't suppose you could do a video of it, could you?" I went, "Yeah, of course I can."
You did that with the I Would drums at my old studio.
Yeah, that was it. Because the thing was with Highwood, it said Gareth was there going like, and I said, "This is 7 years ago." Yeah, 7 years ago. Gareth, I was up at the workshop, picking up some bits and bobs. Like, bloody hellfire! Keep getting emails. People want to hear the drums, but we custom make them, so we can't actually tell them what they're going to sound like. Apart, they're going to sound great, but they might not believe us. I went, right. So how many ranges have you got? So, well, we've got the Steam Bent, which is actually that. Got refinished. That was in your studio.
Yeah.
And then
it's a lovely kit. I recorded Erindra album on that. That's the one, the same kit.
Yeah, it's a great kit. So there was the acrylic, and then there was the birch with an exotic veneer. And I went, well, if you get all the kits, well, I had that anyway. Give me 2 kits. Mm-hmm. I'll call Jason. You did me a great day rate, as I remember. Mm-hmm. And give me 3 snares. Surely that's a standpoint. Mm-hmm. And you've knocked me money off the equipment I bought off you anyway. Mm-hmm. Consider it a gift. And I went, that's just blown my mind. I went, well, that's what people can or will or won't do. So I can and I will. Whereas sitting around... So do. And then there's pictures of a rather larger me playing some drums in Jason's studio.
Nice.
But are you part of the solution or are you part of the problem? But then, like YouTube and Facebook was, well, probably YouTube. No, nothing was as big. It wasn't as big as it is now in 2009. No. We're just nowhere near. No. It's scary now. If I could tell now, I would have
done a video every day.
I'd have done a video every day. I'd have been living at your house. I'd have been paying half your rent, and you would have been my bitch. But
which you still can, customers.
Yeah. And I'd have made him shave his moustache. He had a moustache. He had moustache week.
Oh, right, okay. That was moustache time.
But no, yeah, if I'd have known what I know now, I would not have stopped. Because I saw a Jared Falk from Drumeo, who's got a great attitude, great business model. Mm-hmm. He's got a business model. He's got a revenue stream from what he's doing.
I wish I knew what one of those was back then.
Yeah, Jesus. I think he put up his first, hey guys, it's Jared, it's my first ever video. And he looks like typical Seattle grunge dude with a baseball cap and the blonde hair coming out of the ears, lumberjack shirt, 3/4 length. Hi, this is Jared. He's like, my God, if you just come in from a bender or something. But then you look at it now, it's like the production's slick, the AV's wicked, and the sound's great. But you just develop it. But I wish, I just gone. Yeah.
Have you seen a boost in your clientele since you started doing the YouTube stuff?
Yeah, I think locally, because I taught at Barnsley College on the BTEC, mm-hmm. and I teach on the degree, mm-hmm. I kind of get beginners to degree level students anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think more often, like every couple of months, I get some like more established players or people who've got a job and want to have like booster lessons. So yeah, I get week to week a kind of clientele from beginner to degree level across the town. But then people just pop in for just like, can you work this out for me, or can you give me some stuff to do on my left hand, on my left foot, or that kind of thing.
And do you find that because you've been doing it so long, the basic stuff is almost what's spurring you to do the YouTube stuff, because you can reach a more advanced audience, you can even tackle yourself?
Completely. And I'm thinking, right, I need to concentrate. I want to concentrate on this stuff, on the kind of education, internet tuition, e-courses and stuff like that. And I thought, I need to release a day and a half of me representing Rhythm Inc. locally in local schools. Because I'm not dismissing it, but any well-inclined drummer can deliver a great set of beginner lessons. It won't differ massively. I suppose mentor if he needs it, and give people a chance who have got potential to actually exist. So it's kind of like passing the torch a little bit, but I think it's important, because what's the point in you teaching people and then it gets to a certain point, shut up now, I'm good at money. Well, I'll tell you what, can you do a day and a half for me in these schools? Don't let me down, we'll see how it goes. And then that releases me from the school obligation to work on this. So it's a bit of a gamble for me, because I've lost a day and a half's earnings, but sometimes you just got to do it.
I love the idea of mentorship. I've come so far in the last few years from putting myself around like-minded people or even better people than me and growing, because you are the people that you spend the most time with.
I don't know, giving an objective opinion, which you haven't got when you're 25. You're just running around the country going, booze, gigs, what's council tax?
So from mentorship, you're giving back and you're getting other people involved. What kind of processes do you put in place when you're setting up a business like Rhythm Inc? What can people do to be selective about who they work with and achieve the best results?
I think it's like when we set this up, there was 4 of us to start with, which was great because we're splitting the rent 4 ways.
Sure.
But when we actually went into profit, that profit equally went 4 ways, which was fine for about a year. And it just kind of got to the point where you're going to turn around going, actually, I'm doing this for nothing. And then I'm thinking, why should I push it? Why should I push myself, my side of the business, if I'm going to be splitting profits 4 ways with them? It's a vicious circle. A cooperative is the wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is a beautiful thing. But sometimes just start off by yourself or another like-minded person, like say, even against drum tuition, and then piggyback some you mate who's a great guitarist. Don't have 2 drum teachers, bass guitarist, and a guitarist, then another guitarist. Don't basically get all your mates into one business, because it ain't gonna last.
Or you said something before. You said something about maybe you're the talent of the thing, but then you got other people to deal with, like admin stuff that you might even not be thinking about. Don't just ignore the fact that stuff exists. Actually, get somebody on the case and to help you out with that kind of thing.
Yeah. God, there's so much information online now that you could type in any question. Why have I got a spot on my bottom? There's going to be loads of answers. It's like thinking about it. But seriously, best way to deal with your day-to-day running of your business, there's going to be someone's going to vlog on it. Just pay attention to it. See what I did there?
Yeah, that was good.
Also, it's just dealing with staff. If your business grows, you've got more things to worry about. You've got to know where if they're taking money for your business, for their lessons, you need to know how much they're taking, how much you've got, how much they should have taken, what you take to the bank. You've got to count it up. It's like a 3-way process. That's just for one lesson. And then you've got to make sure that they are letting on time, that they're teaching on time, they're not cutting short, they're not nipping out for a cigarette or tossing it off. So management is actually, it's not really part of what you got into it for, but it's something you've
got to keep at the back of your head.
Oh God, the amount of teachers that we've had, that we've spent money on advertising, Google ads, website, this and this, word of mouth. We had one guy, he said, look, I really want to do this, and I could do keyboard and guitar. I went, that's great, because sometimes keyboard teachers in Monday, Wednesday, and you can't come on Tuesday, but if little Johnny wants to have keyboard and guitar lessons, you're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We had 4 hours work every Tuesday. Another guy took him on in Rotherham on a Thursday or something like that. So over about a month, we got him 9 hours work, which is pretty damn good. It doesn't happen overnight. That's what you tell people. But we got 9 hours work. And then he started being slack, turning up late, and then didn't turn up for 1 week. Text in, no reply. Next day, called him.
All the time it's affecting your reputation as a company.
Yeah. And I've got an email back from him saying, I've decided to take on a Herbalife franchise.
The worst thing.
No, exactly. And then, so all the custom that we'd actually developed, he'd lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then that damages your reputation. So then you're back, 2 steps forward, 7 steps back. So one of the parents could be at primary school going, I didn't get an hour on drum lessons, or some guitar lessons. Oh, don't go to Rhythm Inc. The guy on Tuesday didn't turn up for 2 weeks, and he's now trying to sell me supplements.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to take it down that angle, but like the idea of those kind of companies that it went to, it's very multi-level marketed the way that it is. They're actually providing no value whatsoever, whereas here... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Supplements can be a good thing, but that's not. That's basically selling people on selling things, on selling things, on selling things. And when it jumps in that kind of level of marketing, it's not the grassroots, value-driven thing that you've set up here. And it's really important. Like, it's a great way to finish this interview is talking about the idea that to be successful in business, most of the time it's all just about giving value. It's about giving as much as you can and then giving that trust, applying that trust element, and then you get your reward back.
Yeah, and maintaining it. And, like, if I was my boss, I would give me a job because I'm passionate. However, I'd be getting my balls busted all the time.
Exactly.
not for the actual job, just the after sales service. My accountant hates me. Tax returns, all that kind of stuff. It's just so necessary because you can be delivering great lessons, great value, a great environment, but if you don't keep on top of the money coming in, the money going out, the staff, you can be $3,000 down, and you've...
Yeah. So it's a great way to end it. I hope you take a lot from that episode. Thanks for doing this, Bob. Amazing, mate. Yeah. Cheers.
See you next time.
So that was a great episode. It's not that easy to set up a business in the creative arts world. Bob shows us that here. I love that bit about the pointless genius that no one knows, and how we can go about putting more important people in our lives by gifting without expectation and continually providing a value service. Then coming together in a relationship that's mutually beneficial. People generally don't expect generosity these days, and if it's easy for you to give, why you should be the one providing solutions to their problems. We've all underpriced ourselves at some point, and Bob raises some fair points about valuing time over money. There's some great tips about scaling your business with a YouTube channel and passing on the torch to younger, less experienced people by being a mentor and allowing them to grow in the same way that you have. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You can find out more about Bob at rhythminc.co.uk or follow his YouTube channel. I'll put a link there in the show notes for you. Show your support and subscribe in YouTube, iTunes, and in Stitcher Radio. I make this content to help creative people in the areas that I've struggled the most in my career. If you feel like you're struggling with yours, or you feel like you've overcome such a huge hurdle in your productive performance, then guess what? I'd love to hear about it. So get in touch, like and follow me on Facebook. Let's have a chat about how we can bring out the best creative in you and in others. Cheers. Bye.